I'm just scratching the surface. I'm just scratching the surface.
Guys, I'm sorry for the missed talks with you, for the long wait you've endured, wanting to know my thoughts on the Knicks, and I've missed it too, because we are
I'm
brother
just scratching the surface.
and sister, united in a world called Knicks fandom. A world that was filled with hope at the beginning of this season. A hope that disappeared when the Knicks didn't even get to the playoffs or the playoffs. But it really does hurt me to say this. So I'll just go ahead and say this. Good evening, Knicks fans. It's your boy. And you are now tuned into another episode of Oh You a Dicks podcast. I'd like to thank you for joining us. And if you're new to the channel or a returning viewer and you haven't subscribed yet, then what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button for your boy and press that notification bell so you'll be the first to see all our latest videos and live streams where we discuss the state of the Knicks. We have a good show in store for you today. We have a good things to talk about and some bad things. We have things like Zion's new press release about his extension. Do you believe him? We'll also be talking the current state of the New York Knicks. Like, who's going and who's staying on the roster. And it's only going to be the people that I believe didn't achieve too much. We will also be discussing RJ Barrett and his extension. Does he deserve the max contract, or should he take the hometown discount? I'd like to welcome Miss Lee with me here today. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
And with that being said, let's talk about how Rowan is growing. Last week, the Old Man in the Three podcast, which is run by JJ Redick, shout out to him and his co-host over there. But they dropped a video featuring RJ Barrett, where they touched on a few topics that I want to discuss here with you. And one of the topics was if he wanted to sign an extension to stay with the Knicks for the long run. And, you know, of course he said yeah. And I'm sure that, you know, RJ Barrett really meant that. I mean, he told us about the story of his grandfather wanting him to be a New York Knick. So I believe him when he meant it. I believe him when I say that he meant it. But In order for that to happen, we're going to need both sides to agree. So I'll ask you this, Miss Lee. From your own opinion, will the Knicks extend RJ Barrett this offseason? And wait, and if they do, is RJ Barrett worth the max contract?
I believe he is because he's actually shown improvement from when he first started with the Knicks. Some may think he doesn't deserve it, but to be honest with you, when I look at him, I do see consistency. He's
Right.
constantly improving himself,
Especially
And
after the second half of
right,
the season.
and even Coach Thibodeau was like, he's always in the gym. Everybody said he's always in the gym.
Right.
He's always working on his game. So why wouldn't you want to give someone that you know that's committed to the team and to his teammates? And he's shown himself to be a leader to me this year.
Right.
Because everybody's saying that he's talking to them, he's motivating them, he's telling them what to do. You know what I'm saying? So, and to me, that's a leadership role to me, a person that you can trust to say, you know what, I can trust him to come here every day, put the work in, get the work done, and I've seen that from him.
I definitely agree. And shout out to Books Divine, man. Thank you for saying the welcome back, man. Welcome back to you as well, man. I'm sorry that I've been gone all of this time. I mean, I got to be honest with you guys. I have a lot of stuff that's going on for me out here in the world that's outside of YouTube. So sometimes I have to, devote my attention to my business and the well-being of my family in order for, things for me to be able to present myself well to you guys as well. But I definitely agree with what you said. But do you think the Knicks are willing to give him that max extension?
Listen, if you can give it to Randle, you can give it to RJ.
To be exact, though, they really didn't give it to Randle.
But why wouldn't you give it to RJ? If you don't give it to RJ, that just let me know that then you don't intend on him being there that long. You tend to trade him away for something better. But if you know that you can build a team around him, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Okay.
Why you wouldn't give it to him.
I mean, at the end of the day, you faced with a lot of things. One being Julius Randle's contract. In my opinion, I do want RJ Barrett to stay. I do agree with you when you say that RJ Barrett is a leader. I do believe that he could take charge. And not only that, I believe that he can elevate his game in the fourth quarter. I've seen him do it enough times to where I know for a fact that he can be a consistent player to where he ups the team in the fourth quarter.
So where do you stand on him getting the extension?
I was going to say that. Do I believe that RJ Barrett deserves the max extension? We're talking about $180 million. 5-year extension here. I believe that RJ Barrett will grow into the player that deserves that. I don't believe that he's at that stage right now. I don't believe that he's a dominant enough player to even say that he's at that stage right now. But not saying that he doesn't deserve it. Hear me out. I believe that he does deserve it because I believe that we're going to continue to see an upward trend with RJ Barrett. I believe that he's going to continue to get better and better every year. I believe that each year motivates him more to be a better player. So yes, I do agree that I believe he should get the max extension. But do I think that he deserves it right now? No.
So what do you think is gonna will happen to him if he doesn't get that contract.
I believe that the Knicks want to give him an extension, but I don't believe that they want to give him excess of $180 million. Not just because of RJ Barrett's skill, but because of what you have to surround him with. There's going to come a time, and there is a time, which I would say right now with the NBA, you have to monitor your pay grade of what you're giving the player each year. You're only allotted, I think, $117 million per year to spend on your roster. So you're going to have to divvy that up. And if you got Julius Randle, who's about to start a new contract making excess of, I believe, $27 million his first year, and then you couple that with RJ Barrett making almost $30 million a year, that's $50 million right there. Let's say you want to get, you know that those two players are not enough for you, right? So you want another player. You want another star potentially. You're not going to get a star for cheap. So what if you say, hypothetically, if they went out and got Damian Lillard, who's making an excess of $47 million, couple that with the 50-something million that they got, that's basically 3 players taking up 90% of your roster's funds for players. And that leaves you with role players. You won't be able to keep Derrick Rose. You're not going to be able to keep, all you're going to have is your young players. You're going to have to give up something like Obi or Quickly or Quentin Grimes of that, or Alex Burks, because you're not going to be able to support all of those players on your roster. So do I feel that the Knicks should give RJ Barrett the max contract? No. I believe they should offer him a 4-year, maybe $100 million. Maybe the same contract as Julius Randle, 117 million. That way they'll be, they won't be cash strapped. And they'll be able to sit up, they'll be able to, have money to be able to gain other players. So that's how I feel about that. How can you sort of kind of agree with that?
I can if it's a matter of them having cap space to be able to get a potential star to come.
Right.
I can understand that, but would he be willing to? It's just a matter of whether he's willing to take less,
the hometown
to
discount,
to still stay on the team.
I believe that RJ Barrett would,
with a guarantee that he'll get that max contract down the line.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can understand that.
If that's an
right.
agreement that
they
can
could make on the side,
right?
Yeah.
If he continue to improve his game and he's continued to show that he can be a leader for this team,
right?
And he'll, you know what I'm saying? So eventually, he'll get that max contract.
And speaking of, getting, another player to maybe pair with him and Julius Randle, because we're going to get to Julius Randle at the end of this. But speaking of a player, I just want to touch on this one little topic right here. And I have to say this, and I know a lot of fans will agree with me. I know in the back of your minds, no matter what the talk has been about this man's health, about this man's well-being, about his weight, I know that a lot of Knicks fans' prayers to Zion were not answered today. If you guys don't know, Zion Williamson recently sat down with reporters where he was asked about his extension, and he readily replied, saying that he was eager to sign his extension with the New Orleans Pelicans. In my opinion, that was shutting the door on everybody's wish for him to finesse his way out of New Orleans and make his way to the Knicks. So, as I talk about Zion, and I know you have your point of view, of him and, your thoughts about him. Do you think that he was telling the truth when he told them that he was gonna re-sign with the New Orleans Pelicans? Or do you think he was just saying something for the reporters to get them off his back?
I didn't see it, but if I had saw it, I probably would have picked up on his demeanor and his vibe and how he was. So I can't say, because who to say that the Pelicans want to sign him back? You know what I'm saying? Give him a contract. Because you only played with them, 1 year, and the rest of the time you were hurt.
Right.
So, and then when you did come back, you got hurt again. So, I don't know. Because I can see that they can probably look at it as like, well, we really didn't even need you to go to the playoffs. Or to even make it into the play-in to get to the first round of the playoffs. So, I don't know. I'm iffy. I really don't know.
I definitely see where you're coming from. Because at the end of the day, his health does play a factor into everything. But I look at it like this. I look at the New Orleans Pelicans as looking at the situation like we are just imagining what the team would be like if you were actually on the court.
Right.
Think about it. Let's be honest here.
Exactly.
Him,
they would have been
CJ
dominating.
McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and the supporting cast that they got right now, I think they would have beat the Suns.
And
with Devin Booker.
And I think, to be honest, now that you said that, I think while he was on the sidelines,
he was looking.
I think he was probably picturing himself in the lineup of how, since they did add CJ McCollum, to see maybe there could be a potential that, I could probably go far with this new squad, since they did add some key pieces since I've been out. So, right. I don't know, maybe he could, and it's sad that if he do sign, that word was going around that there's a possibility that he could have left and go to the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, I don't know what it is.
I mean, I think another reason why he's going to stay, because I believe that all of that noise about him coming to the Knicks next season, I think is pretty much up and done. He got too many factors that's going to keep him in New Orleans. The contract. He knows for a fact he's a generational talent. They are going to pay him. He is going to get that max contract.
And I think that's the thing with a lot of players, because it do kind of bring you back to RJ. Do they think he is that person that can take them to the top? You know what I'm saying? Because you do have those ones, especially if you're drafted the first round pick. Right. They feel like you're like the superstar of all superstars.
But I think that RJ done showed them enough.
Right, and I felt because he was like the eighth.
He was the third.
The third pick. Come on, he's been doing his thing, and I felt like they robbed him a few times of certain awards, which I think was
of course
wrong.
Of course,
So
I think that he should have been at least mentioned in the most improved player this season.
Exactly.
I think that RJ Barrett has been snuffed from the 25 under 25. I think that RJ Barrett has been left out of a lot of conversations that he deserved to be in.
Exactly. And it goes back to just being a New Yorker for some reason.
They hate the New York Knicks. Yeah.
It's something about being a New Yorker that it's like, stop hating, okay?
Right. But
just appreciate the game that we play.
Right. And the knowledge
and of the acknowledge game. Every game and acknowledge the players that need to be acknowledged.
Right.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
New Yorkers, we can ball.
But not only that, we know the game.
and know the hard work and dedication and the work that they put in
Right,
to
and
get
the
to where they
fundamentals
are.
of how to make a successful team.
Exactly.
But, getting back to Zion, I'm going to definitely love seeing him next year with the Pelicans.
Of course.
Shout out to Joseph Clark. Shalom, shalom, man. Ashe, Ashe, brother. Ashe, Ashe. Man, you just coming in, man. You missed some heavy conversation, man. How do you feel about let me know in the chat, man. How do y'all feel about Zion potentially signing that new deal with the Pelicans? Do y'all like that idea? Are y'all mad? Did y'all think that maybe that he was going to come to the Knicks next season? What do y'all think about Zion Williamson? Let me know.
Also, what do you guys think also about RJ signing the max contract if the Knicks offer that
Right.
as well?
Do you think that RJ Barrett deserves the max contract? Do you think RJ Barrett is deserving? I believe that RJ Barrett deserves it, but I believe not right now. I don't believe that the New York Knicks should give RJ Barrett a max extension right now. Mainly because I know that they had bigger things to do with this team. One of the things being, how are you even going to react with this Julius Randle contract? Can you deal with this Julius Randle contract? Are you accepting of this Julius Randle contract? Shout out to Joseph Clark. He said, I did think he was coming to New York to reunite with his alumni. I did too, man, until he said what he said in that presser. And to be honest with you, I think he was really serious about it. I think that he watched how his team play in the playoffs. I think he watched the fight that they have. I think he gained a newfound respect for the coach. I mean, that was an emotional. We have to admit, the end of that game was very, very emotional. That was a very emotional. That's the student first loss to the master.
Right.
To the teacher, excuse me. So, I did think, I thought beforehand that Zion was going to come to the New York Knicks. I thought that Zion was going to make his way out. But once he said what he said, I believe he was like,
I'll give it another try.
I give it another try.
RJ isn't a max player, but he's a fundamental piece.
Foundational piece. Exactly. I totally agree with you. He's not a max player right now. No matter how much, I believe that RJ Barrett can be the heart and soul of the New York Knicks. But in the same breath, I have to say his inefficiency this year, he wasn't a lights out shooter.
He wasn't. He got better in defense. He got his defense better. And his overall offense was better, but his percentages was terrible. So, I mean, I have to look at that when I look at giving you a max contract. But as far as being the leader of the team, I believe RJ Barrett possesses all leadership qualities. Shout out to Joseph Clark. He said, I say keep Randle and hire Mark Jackson. I mean, that all depends on how valuable you feel that Mark Jackson offense is. Because we have to admit that the one thing that really kept the Knicks down this season was their offense. Eventually, their defense started to get better, but they couldn't close out teams in the fourth quarter. But then a lot of them end up just slacking on defense.
Julius Randle.
Yeah, because that's one thing. They'll start good on defense, and then when the second half comes, it's like they lost in the sauce. I don't know, what's going on.
I agree with you with part of that, but what I would have to say is Julius Randle was the main problem with the New York Knicks defense this season. My biggest issue with the Knicks this season was them being able to close out games. You'll see them come and beat teams for 3 quarters. By the time the end of the third quarter is happening, they done
Randle
came.
checked out. He be done checked out.
No, not only just Randle, the team in
Yeah,
general,
they
wouldn't be
check
able
out.
to score a basket.
Mm-hmm.
And then when R.J. Barrett is going on, you see in the fourth quarter they barely like to even give R.J. Barrett the ball. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, it's all about responding to you, Joseph Clark. It's all about if Mark Jackson can be that offensive coach while still maintaining the defensive identity. He said Randle needs a player coach to channel his passion.
Can I say something?
I think Randle's passion is pretty much done with the New York Knicks. I truly believe that. Because, I mean, the love affair pretty much is over with the majority of the Knicks fans. The love affair with him towards the Knicks fans is pretty much over too. You had too many instances where his wife started to argue with media because she felt like they was giving the wrong impression of Julius Randle. I mean, I think that Julius Randle, at the end of the day, no matter what he may say, I truly think that Julius Randle does not want to be a part of the New York Knicks anymore.
Right, because you can tell that he checked out. Once he checked out with the team. He checked out with the fans.
He checked out
with everybody. He checked out with everybody. So at this point, it's like, okay, if they can't get rid of him and get, because of that contract, they gonna have to find a way to get him to play as a team, because if everybody else is cohesive with each other and you still focusing on being Julius Randle and it's all about Julius,
right,
where would that leave everybody?
Right.
Where would that leave the team? And I don't like it when people don't understand. At the end of the day, this is a team sport. It is not a one-man show.
Right.
It's a team sport. And football, let's put it to football. If the football players know that the only way I can score a touchdown or do anything is what? I need the quarterback to throw me the ball.
Not only that, I need the line.
And you need the line to give me a good defensive. Come on, it's. They all know that we can't get this done if we don't work as a team. And the only way our quarterback is gonna give us the ball is if we make sure that he is blocked and we protect him so he can get that ball out there.
And speaking of team, now, hold on. Joseph Clark said Tibbs gave Randle too much leeway when he had that great season last year. I completely agree with you. He gave him too much leeway, and not only that, he didn't give him any discipline when Julius Randle started to mess up. Instead of how he treated R.J. Barrett, and he will pull R.J. Barrett and keep him out, he'll still keep Julius Randle in so he can fight through it.
Exactly. And that brings to the point, that's the same thing that happened when Kemba Walker came.
Right.
Kemba Walker didn't even get a chance to show what he can do in the whole setup, because now you brought two new pieces in, which was Kemba Walker and Fournier. But you kept Fournier in where he had way more messed up game than Kemba did to me. But you actually gave Fournier more of a chance than you did Walker. And that did not help the team, because at the end of the day, Randle was still want to be Randle.
He did RJ wrong, bro. He did RJ terrible. Ever since Tibbs was in there, ever since Tibbs became the coach, even last season, the season before this season, he was doing R.J. Barrett wrong. He had fade R.J. Even the players on the starting lineup used to just fade R.J. Barrett out. He'd be on the corner just begging for the ball, like, pass it to me. I'm open. But you want to know what he did? This is why I respect R.J. Barrett. He put in that work. He didn't falter. He didn't run from run from the fire, he went headstrong through the fire and he kept putting in that work in. And then it came to a point where Tibbs couldn't deny the magnificence of RJ Barrett this season. That's why you start seeing him during the end of the season give RJ Barrett more control to the team. You get what I mean? And speaking of team, okay, so we know the roster that was assembled this season is one that we are all trying to forget. And it's safe to say that it won't look the same at the start of next season. So I'll ask you this, and chat, if y'all want to, y'all can get in on this too. Out of all the players on the roster, who do you think will be gone first? Who do you think is the first player that the Knicks are going to trade? Joseph Clark said Tibbs did Grimes, Obi, and even Deuce wrong. If it wasn't for COVID-19, we wouldn't know anything about these players. And that's a fact. Without COVID-19, I doubt if them brothers would have got that much burn. We wouldn't have seen the magnificence of Grimes, who I believe deserves to be. If they get rid of Evan Fournier, I believe Grimes should make his way to that starting lineup because he's definitely going to be a problem. And if a team come right now asking for a trade, no way am I giving up Grimes. I give up quickly before Grimes. I'm being honest with you because Grimes is lights out. I'd rather keep quickly and give up Deuce, but I give up quickly before Grimes and Obi. I gotta keep them. I'm not giving them guys up. So who do you think is going to be the first player on the New York Knicks that get traded this offseason? Maybe even at draft time. Be honest.
That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm looking. I know they might keep those veteran players.
Like who, Taj?
I know they'll probably keep Taj. He'll keep Rose.
Shout out to Joseph. He said Randle will be the first to go because he came at the fans. Man, after hearing this news with Zion, I think.
But if they get rid of Randle, who will they get to replace him?
Exactly. That's
who
the one
is
question
going to
I
be
have.
willing to come to the Knicks?
I mean, we could say that Obi Toppin could fill his position. And not only that, the good thing about what Obi Toppin is, Obi Toppin doesn't demand the ball
He
that
doesn't.
much.
He's off the ball.
The question is,
will Tibbs be right?
What team is going to
take Randle?
Take Randle, and not only that, what is that team going to send back?
Exactly. And I feel like, to be honest, the Knicks have a good enough roster. I would like he said, due to the
So you feel like the New York Knicks have a good enough roster to make it to the playoffs, currently constructed. They have a good enough roster to make it to the playoffs.
If they get rid of Randle, if Randle come off the bench or something, because I feel like Obi, RJ, who was it? Was it Grimes or Sims?
Who?
McBride, all those young guys, I think they're all capable of doing good with the Knicks because they're young. Why not? Because this is
Joseph Clark said, "Trust me, fans, fire Tibbs and keep the same
right.
roster."
Because that's what I feel the same way too. Like, he should go because it's like, I don't know. I'm always with utilize your young players. At the end of the day, the young players are the one that's going to be leading the NBA.
I just don't see how this team can currently construct it. And I'm just being honest with you guys. I don't see how this team currently constructed can even get us. They didn't make even the play in tournament.
That's because they wasn't
gelling. The only way is if Randle plays off the ball and does
and
nothing,
that's hard
and
for him,
and does nothing but attack the rim.
And that's hard for him. And when he doesn't have the ball, he is like.
So you're validating my point that they're not going to make the playoffs because he's not going to buy into even a new coach because he's so headstrong. He's so headstrong.
Come off
you gotta
the
think
bench.
about it. He's doing the same thing that Randle is doing right. Let's be honest here. Yeah, I mean, you're right, bro. We still do got Cam and we still do got Obi, but like I said, if you could get rid of Randle's contract, what team is going to take that contract, even though it's not a bad contract? $117 million, that's cakewalk.
Because they may not even want him.
But if you get rid of his contract, where are you going to send him to? And not only that, where you send him to, what are you going to get back? Because if you getting back a player like Russell Westbrook for Randle, no way, I don't want to take that deal. If you getting back, let's say, Miles Turner from Indiana even if you bring old boy that's with him, that's Malcolm Brogdon, if you bring him into the mix too, that means that you taking playing time away from Mitchell Robinson, a player who I consider to be a future Ballot Hall of Fame defensive player because he's already showing that potential right now. So if you bring over Miles Turner and Malcolm Brogdon, you taking time away from R.J. Barrett, you taking time away from Quickly, you taking away time from Deuce McBride, Quentin Grimes, you taking time away from all these players. Also, Rose got hurt. All we need is a new coach and a point guard. I mean, if they get rid of, I'll be honest here, if they get rid of Tibbs, I won't be sad and I won't be mad. As long as and even if they went and got Mark Jackson, I'll be okay with that. But I truly don't think that they about to get rid of Tom Thibodeau. Because he came in his first year and got us to the playoffs. So I believe that Leon Rose and Wes, they believe in him. And to be honest with you, I believe in Tom Thibodeau too.
But he couldn't get it done for some reason this year.
But the thing about it is, when you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, at the end of the day, he doesn't have full control. They gave Julius Randle all of that contract. What do he look like by not running the offense through Julius Randle?
That's not what you're there for. I look at it like this:
if Julius Randle was the most improved player the season before last,
but you did the comeback showing that same person.
I understand.
Why would I still be letting the ball run through you when you're not even showing the same productive person you was last year when y'all did go to the playoffs and the people had you go to the All-Stars and all that, but then you want to come back the next year and give the people your behind the kiss? If LeBron can learn to play off the ball, he can learn to play off the goddamn ball too.
I completely agree with you. If
well, you right. He is stuck on stubbornness. And the same way Julius is too. Stuck in their way, and you ain't going to get nowhere.
I completely agree with you. If I was in Tom Thibodeau's shoes, trust and believe, Julius Randle would be benched. But that's not the way it works in the NBA.
I know that. But still, at the end of the day, you just got to know when you have to cut the line and you go to the hierarchy and be like, listen, y'all need to let me run this team.
Did or did not Tom Thibodeau towards the end of the season, even when they were still fighting to either get in the play? Listen to me. Did he or did he not? Maybe you wasn't watching the games as much, but I still watched the games. You get what I'm saying? There was times where he gave the reins to R.J. Barrett and kept running plays for R.J. Barrett.
You waited too long.
I understand that, and I agree with you. He did. But you got to understand, it's a political game here. If he's getting word from the higher ups, as in Leon Rose and William Wesley, they're like, yo, listen. You agree with her, bro?
They waited too long.
Thank you, sister.
That's why I tell
your sister
him
nothing. She has to understand that there's a chain of commands. If Leon Rose and William Wesley is telling him like, yo, listen, this is our star guy. We're gonna ride with him. He's gonna take us to the promised land.
Well, apparently he
has
ain't.
to, and then not only that, Julius Randle earned that title by earning an All-Star vote, by earning second team All-NBA, by earning Most Improved Player award. He earned Tom Thibodeau to have his faith.
Where the heck was he this year?
I'm not saying that he didn't play bad.
Where was he?
I'm not saying that he didn't play bad. I'm just saying that he earned that the year before. You get what I'm saying?
He disappeared on us. I felt like he used us to get to where he feel that he needed to get to, and then out.
No, he did not do that. No, you're wrong. Listen,
hold on.
Opinion. Let me listen.
That's my opinion.
Listen. But my brother, a good coach knows his players. That's true. But when you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, when his contract doesn't litigate you putting him on the bench or stopping his playing time goes against his contract, how much do you guys expect for Tibbs to do? This is what I'm saying to you. And not only that, look at this. This one jewel, and I want you to listen, I want you to chat, I want y'all to look at this too. And I want you to look at it, hear me out on this. This season for the New York Knicks, team leaders go. Points. Who was the points leader on the team? Julius Randle. Who was the rebound leader on the team? Julius Randle. Who was the assist leader on the team? Julius Randle. The type of season that Julius Randle had is only 3 other players that was doing that besides him. I mean, 2 other players. Giannis and Jokic. That was averaging as many points, rebounds, and assists per game. So I just want to say this. By me saying that Tom Thibodeau was justified by the way that he treated Julius Randle, these numbers right here prove that. He was 3 players in the whole league that's doing this. Him, Jokic, and Giannis. No matter how we as fans have viewed him, because I'm not denying all of the bull crap that Julius Randle gave us. But what I'm saying is, you can't blame the coach when the coach is in the rock in the hard place. I have to side with the sister. Tibbs had the entire beginning of the season to play Obi, Grimes, and Deuce. Look, if you can see the look that I'm getting right
because
now.
I know what I be talking about. I know what I be talking about. Because, and with those other 2 players you named, what was the players?
Jokic and Giannis.
And Giannis. And where did they get their team?
To the playoffs.
Exactly. What was Julius doing? Worrying about his own stat.
That's true.
And not worrying about building up your team to win games.
But you're making it seem like I'm saying that.
No.
That Julius Randle, that's what I'm going to tell Joseph Clark too. He said that I don't want Randle to stay. Because regardless of these numbers, Randle was a hindrance to the other players.
He was.
From his attitude, from his defense, from the way that he put other players in a position to hit shots, the way that he lost the ball, continuously turned it over, was repetitive.
And he done run back on defense. He lackadaisical. He complaining back there to the West. Like, dude,
so
get in the action. Okay?
I'm gonna ask you because Joseph Clark said it. Do you believe that Randle can stay and Tibbs can go?
They both need to go. I feel that if they can't get nothing good for Randle, I'll deal with him staying. But if they're gonna keep Tibbs, he has to know he has to know how to put Randle in his place and say, listen, I understand that you're the key player on this team, but you have to know how to play off the ball so your other teammates can get in a rhythm and flow and you know what I'm saying? Just stay in the game.
Right.
Stay in the game.
That's all on Tibbs, my brother. A good coach wouldn't allow this. That's true.
You have to know
I'm not
when to say, okay, it's not working. That's why I understand why these young
I was getting to that. And that's what, and I don't know if you heard me in the beginning, because that's what I was saying. If you can't get Zion, I'd rather keep Randle.
Well, Randle got to know how to fall in line.
I agree.
He got to know, like, listen, you're not the point guard. What is he?
He's a
power forward. Play a power forward. Call it a day.
I agree. He should drive to the basket more.
You're not like LeBron James.
Oh, no. Mark Jackson definitely wouldn't tolerate Randle behavior. You totally right on that, bro.
You sitting up there on the sideline beefing with the coaches or the equipment staff people. You're doing too much. You a star, but you ain't that big of a star now.
Right.
You got to get some things in check. That's why I can't be a coach. Because regardless, I don't care how much you getting paid, you sitting down. If you not helping my team, you sitting your behind down, and I put somebody else in that's going to help. That's how my kids will never have me coach them in anything. Because it ain't going to work.
So you believe that Randle should stay, or do you believe Randle should go?
I already told you, if they can't get nobody good for him, then I'll have to deal with him another season or two or so.
And guys, don't worry, because we're not talking about the draft. I want to do more, research on the draft. And to be honest with you, I want to, I'm probably going to do a podcast where, I give you guys some, potentials that the Knicks could pick up in the draft. But what I was hoping for was that the Knicks package this year's picks, and maybe a player like Julius Randle, maybe a couple of picks, and Julius Randle would get us the right player.
Yeah, because I don't really think they need to draft anyone.
But it seems like there's no right player that's out there, because they trying to get us with the Pat Riley had Oakley and Mace locked down. Tough said. Yeah, that's a fact. I believe that they should have gave Pat Riley the deal that he was asking for. When you remember when he was asking for, a percentage of ownership, I believe that if Dolan would have gave that to Pat Riley, if he would have gave that to him, I truly believe that all the championships that Miami Heat
would have came to
the Knicks. I believe that LeBron really would have came to the Knicks. I don't know for a fact if Wade would have been there, but instead of Wade and LeBron, it would have been Melo and LeBron. You get what I mean?
Wow, you think Bosh would have came?
Of course, Bosh would have came. Yeah. Of course. I truly believe if they would have gave Pat Riley the deal that he was asking for as a percentage of the team and still be the president, I believe. Was he still going to? No, I believe he was going for the president. I don't believe he was trying to be the coach, because you remember he used to be the coach. I believe, and then with Jeff Van Gundy, I believe that if those Miami championships would have definitely came to the Knicks. I believe if Pat Riley would have, because you see how he run his organization now. The Miami Heat are a problem.
Yes, they are. I
He
can't
picks
wait.
well. He scouts well. He runs his team well. They always have had the same identity, with defense and things of that nature. I believe that.
And
Pat
they
Riley would've
and they
had the Knicks
unified,
right.
and they are so unified with whoever is on the court. They shared that ball. They moved that ball.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. Whoever scores, score. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
And Jimmy being the star, one of the stars over there, he don't care who scores, as long as he win.
Right.
That's the mentality these players need to have. I don't care who's. I understand
Jimmy
we all
turned
trying
into
to.
more of a closer.
Yeah.
I've gained a new respect for him.
But
closing.
I always thought Jimmy Butler was a closer from the teams that he was on. He
I
always
always
shows
thought he was
up.
a manipulator with the refs.
He shows up in the fourth
He's a
quarter.
manipulator.
You have to know when, especially if it's. I understand you got to. And one thing with Jimmy, once he start missing, he wouldn't shoot no more. He'll find his other teammates, and then he would like, all right, we down. Let me see if I could get my rhythm. You have to go with the flow of the game.
Right, bro. He did want a percentage of the Knicks, and they definitely should.
And he
they
was not
shoulda
trying
gave
to
it
do
him.
that. He listen. If you dealing with what's the owner?
Jim Dolan.
He want all his percentage. He don't want nobody in his company. Anybody got stake in the Knicks?
I'm not sure. But
He want to be the sole owner. So when anything goes down, it's on him. He don't. And if I was the owner of a team, I wanted to be me. I don't want you in my franchise. I'm sorry. I'll have you run it, but all the stakes is mine.
Right.
So I take all the responsibility, which. They put all the responsibility and everything that goes wrong with the Knicks on him anyway, and he ain't the one running. He just owns it.
Right.
So I'd rather go through that than anybody else going through that. You know what I'm saying? I could take the heat. Y'all just run the organization, do what y'all do best, and let me run my operation.
Yeah, but like I was saying, I'm gonna do a little, I don't know if I'm gonna do a mock draft or just, prospects that the Knicks should pick up. But, like I was saying, I was hoping that the Knicks package some of those. But as far as talking about other players that probably might get dealt, worrisome thing for me right now is Mitchell Robinson. And guys, I'm gonna be doing a video on this whole Mitchell Robinson thing about whether or not, because right now Mitchell Robinson is about to be an unrestricted free agent. So he'll be able to go anywhere. And the Knicks, if he was a restricted agent, if he was a restricted free agent, the Knicks could match whatever offer. But now he's about to be unrestricted, so I don't know for certain.
I don't think they should lose him.
But it all depends about what they're trying to give him, what he feel he's worth, and what they're trying to give him. So that's a little thing that I am worried about, and I'm going to touch on that in the coming days. Another person that I think that's most likely going to be either gone or, I don't know, man. I'm feeling like we might lose Obi. I feel like if Julius Randle is not going to be off the team, that I believe Obi is going to be packaged in a deal. So I'm going to be talking more about that. I'm going to be talking about the potential trades that we could happen where we see Obi leave the Knicks. And I love that combination, bro. Mitch and Sims, man. Mitch starting, Sims coming off the bench. That's what scares me, especially with Miles Turner. If they get Miles Turner, I forgot all about Sims. Sims might be out of the equation too. So, those are things that I'm worried about. I believe that Alex Burks is gone. I don't believe that Alex Burks will be on the team,
And
even though he signed Noel. Yeah, right. I believe Noel is gone. I believe Alex Burks is gone. I believe Noel is gone. If they can't get rid of Julius Randle, I believe Obi Toppin is going to be packaged. So, we got to be on the lookout for those things right there. I'm hoping that they extend RJ, but I don't think that they're going to extend RJ to where he necessarily needs to be. Yeah, I mean, I think Mitch still needs some mentoring because I don't believe that Mitch is really at that level yet.
He's at that full peak because he can be.
See, the only thing that gives me good hope with Mitchell Robinson is he could defend guards on the wing.
He can.
He could defend guards when they come out 23, 30 feet. He could stay with them. You know what I mean? So that's what, gives me hope for Mitch. But we all got to still question ourselves. Will Mitchell Robinson still be on the team coming next season? And those is going to be some of the, the shows that's coming up in the near future. I'm going to be dropping some podcasts with Miss Sue. And I'm going to be dropping my regular videos as well, guys. So, we're going to end this right here. But I do want to thank you guys for coming back and showing your support to me. Lets me know that you guys are still rocking with me. I'm sorry that it took so long for me to get back to you guys. Trust and believe. I love all you guys. And I appreciate all you guys. Because all you guys do is show me love. You show me love in the comment section. You show me love on my videos. You get me the views. You get me the likes. So I ask that you like and share and subscribe if you're new. And if you already subscribe, I ask you to share and like to your peoples. Let's get this, let's get this channel rolling up again because your boy is back. And I want you guys to, have a great weekend. And remember to always lead by example. Shout out to Joseph Clark. Shalom, bro.
Yes,
Ashe.
yes. Blessings.
Ashe. Be blessed, bro.